Hey guys, so next video, just wanted to do a quick intro talking into the camera in regards to what you're about to see here. Some of you may be familiar with the 5K challenge. Obviously I did last year on social media. I did a YouTube video regarding that, and I was breaking down why I actually did that, the psychological challenges which I set myself to overcome, the fears and so forth that I more or less jumped straight over. It was a successful challenge. But now this video, it's a 25-minute screencast, and I just want to throw it out there to everybody that the material that comes next in section 2, all of this material I have been working on for around nearly 15, 16 months now. So with all of that, I've had a strategic plan to obviously revamp Astro FX, which is going on now. You're here. Getting the office in London, moved in. That was the original plan, to bring all of this material to the table. I always tell you guys that I'm consistently and constantly looking to improve my trading habits, looking to improve my psychology, and always refine my abilities to bring the best to the table. Certain things that happened in Q1 for Astro and the people that we were involved with, all the baggage is now shed, and all of our energy is back, and this has just triggered us to put this content out at a rapid pace and give you guys a full-scale breakdown, the level up of Astro FX, the rebirth of Astro FX. So many people out there, especially people who are in our circle, who we shared information with, and now they're doing their own thing, they'll throw things out there, but they haven't really back-tested it to the full extent. All of the information below into the next sections and what you're going to see continuously throughout the Astro FX new material, what you're going to now see in the weekly breakdowns, what you're going to be joining me once I break down live in person on the webinars. All of this material, guys, has been refined, and it actually has been tested on real money. It has been tested on a 5K challenge. That is the material below. Is how I did that, how I made that, and now I'm bringing all guns blazing after certain scenarios which has happened, and I'm so blessed, I'm so grateful for what's happened, and again, my heart and my passion is back into Astro at full speed, and man, I hope you really enjoy what's ahead. So just go through this video now, 25 minutes. You're going to learn about brokers, you're going to learn about what actually happens when you're successful in the market and how brokers and stuff are going to try to stop you. Very interesting. I learned a lot from the 5K challenge. Not only did it improve my cognitive function on the charts, it improved my confidence in front of the worldwide audience that was watching. It improved my psychology standards, and it also allowed me to solidify all of the material. This material is backed up by real profits, real evidence, and that was just one slide. That was just one mini slide, okay, in the movie, in which I did probably a world record, to tell you the truth. But you're going to be seeing more of my accounts, more of my real results, especially throughout element 13 as well. All of this, again, I'm putting it into action for you, but I'm recording it, I'm taking it to the next level. So anyway, watch the video, go through the content below, and yeah, enjoy it. I have one more video to do in regards to, this is all my notes, I'm going at some rapid pace right now. I have one more video to do, closing off section 2. So this is more or less the transition into section 2. What I learned from the 5K challenge, go through that. I'll close off section 2 afterwards, and then from there onwards, guys, it's learn. Going back to the materials, and yeah, we'll do our best going forward with everybody. So yeah, thank you.
Hey everybody, so I decided to throw this video in because I think it is an important factor, and also you'll get to know a little bit more about the ins and outs of this journey, and why I'm deciding to do it, and so on. Okay, so start of the year, did a decent run, first 4 or 5 months, again with IG index, and managed to turn a small amount into an extremely large amount. For me, it was more or less a personal challenge and a mental test to see how far I could actually go. There were some setbacks along the way, but overall those hurdles were jumped over, so to speak, and I managed to make substantial amounts of money. And then I decided to do a similar task, but more or less publicly on my Instagram. So what I did is, as you can see here, the trader's domain. This is the broker I wanted to use. Trader's domain accepts Bitcoin deposits, and you can also withdraw in Bitcoin as well. So for those who are not familiar with that, you basically deposit Bitcoin into the broker, so cryptocurrency is accepted. That Bitcoin is then translated into your Forex balance, just as any other MT4 would. If you made a credit card, debit card deposit, and so on, or even a wire transfer, it is then reflected on your balance, and then you can simply trade all of the instruments as you would normally. So it's just the factor of withdrawing Bitcoin and depositing Bitcoin, which more or less led me to this broker because I was intrigued by that and I wanted to give it a go. Not to mention that withdrawals and withdrawing the money afterwards, obviously you can move it around, put it onto crypto debit cards, and go and enjoy life and so on. So this account here, so this is the MyFX book which I connected to the account. So I deposited, where's the deposit? 4,636. So just below a sub 5,000 deposit, sorry, and that was on, when was it? Around the end of May. Okay, around the end of May. So what I did with that, all in all here, I'll go through all of the statistics afterwards and actually what happened on this journey so you can take some key pointers from it. Made a deposit. Started to trade. I was only trading around 3 or 4 currency pairs. If I go back to the summary, or the history here, sorry. Is this the, if I go to, I think it's the last page, is the first page. So yeah, here we go. So as you can see, 30th of May 2018. So there's a deposit there, guys. And then these are all of the trades, 9, 10. So my first trade, relatively small, 2 lots, 3 lots, 5 lots, 3 lots. I wasn't working in percentages with this. I was working with monetary figures, and I was more or less risking what was comfortable for me. The aim of this challenge was just to more or less again do what I did at the start of the year, but as fast as I can. Okay, high risk profile, sharing it out there with the world, just to actually, number one, I always like to put my balls on the line, so to speak. Even with my analysis on everythingfx.com, I always need to come back from losses because I have so many people watching my analysis. And in this game, people can be a little bit sour, especially if you have a few losses and so forth. And again, you're always more or less risking a segment of your reputation by doing so. So this one, I've never really seen anybody do this. So I connected my account to my FX book, and I left the MyFX book public, and I put it on my social media handles. I'll show you the actual, I think I had about 40 to 50,000 views on this in a very, very short space of time. Now this only lasted for 1 month. So I'll show you some of the trades here, small pips, small gains. But as we go through the history, as you can see there. Okay, so we went from making $360, losing 18, $45 win, $700 win, $200 win, $400 loss. And as you can see here, gradually, I kept the wins and losses relatively consistent throughout when it comes down to how much is being won, which was on average here, I'd probably say around $450 as an average. And trying to keep the losses as small as possible, because when building the account at first you need to get a few wins behind you in order for you to then go and risk a partial amount of those wins in order to compound the account and actually take bigger lot size trades. So as you can see here, I had a little bit of a losing streak there, minus 300, minus 300, minus 500, 1,000 win, 1,500 win, 800 win, 900, and so on and so forth. Most of these, the currency pairs traded Aussie dollar, pound, USD CAD, Euro Dollar, GBP JPY. That's what I'm going to be using on this task. As you can see there as well, a few losses, didn't really get disheartened by that, came back relatively sharpish. But again, if you look at this, guys, it's gradually building to a comfortable level. So this must have took the account to probably about 20 to 30,000 in 1 week. So we went from 4K to about 20 to 30K in 1 week. Little withdrawal there as well, because I like to withdraw along the way. Not massive amounts, but enough to actually take a token out of the market. And again, I was trying to show people on social media that this account is extremely real. There was no demo account. So yeah, I put a few withdrawals in there and show people. So as you can see here on this page, things upscale quite a lot. 3,000, 2,000, 2,300, 3,400 wins. Here, gold, this was a massive move on gold, which I managed to actually scale in on. That's why there's various orders here, 20K win, 19K win, 20K win, 27. That pushed the entire boat from, I think it was around 50,000 to about 120,000, 130,000. Small loss there. GJ, same thing, scaled in, made a nice 90K on that. So as you can see, it jumped up quite a lot, but again, the risk profile was relatively big. Whilst going through all of this as well, guys, it was mentally draining, and I had to be at the computer a lot of the time. But hey, I signed up for that for the month that this was happening, right? I was then posting some of the before entries on my Instagram story. I was posting the analysis on Everything FX. So again, I was trying to be as transparent as humanly possible throughout this journey. Whilst again, that is so much psychological pressure, and you know what, I did it because it was a barrier that I needed to get over. I always like to push my psychological limits. Not so much it was a barrier I needed to get over, but I knew that by doing this and trading fully in the public, I could have blew this whole account and everybody would have more or less laughed. In a way, my reputation would have just gone straight downhill, but I was out there, I was confident in what I was doing, and again, I was trying to broaden the mindset of many traders out there to what's actually possible. So I personally think this is probably one of the world records, to actually tell you the truth, from 4,600 all the way up until. So if I just finish this off, another withdrawal there. We had a few losses on GBP USD, which were pretty disheartening. Came back relatively strong there with a nice streak, as you can see there. Boom, 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 boom. Withdrawal 26K, withdrawal 25K. So these withdrawals here, so we've got 10. So that's 60K in withdrawals right there. And what date was this? This was the 25th. So that was 3 weeks from when we started. I was paying myself pretty well. Euro, dollar kind of hurt me there. That was a big one. And then on the next page, okay, I'll explain what this was in a moment. On the next page, we were still going up and up and up. So I recuperated all of them euro dollar trades right there. Another 30K withdrawals. So we nearly had 100K withdrawals in 3 weeks, and we still had a load of profit left. Now, if I went into, if I go into what happened here. So in such a short space of time, I ran the brokerage from 4,600 to, I seen highs. The highest equity on this account was $685,000. Now, the lesson we can learn from this is that, see these GBP JPYs, and I have all of this recorded on my phone, and people actually seen this again on social media. 1, 2, 3 losses there, 75 pips per loss. Then again here. So when you lose in the foreign exchange market, the broker can collect your data. It's called B-book. What the broker can then do with that data is trade against you, number one. Number two, they can replicate that backwards so they can make money from your downfall. So they can more or less convert that into an algorithm if they want to. They can get every statistic from you, and obviously 80 to 85 people of people in the foreign exchange market are losing money. So the broker can actually capitalize from the statistics of a loser. Alternatively, if you start to win at alarming rates like we did on this account, we ran this up like no tomorrow, that information, your information, is then passed over to something that is called the A book, which is more or less the liquidity provider. The broker is the middleman from you into the liquidity provider, So when you make a withdrawal from the broker, it's not coming from the broker's pockets, it's coming from the banks in essence. The liquidity provider could be HSBC, RBS, etc. So you're then a threat to the banks, right? Because you're taking money from the banks. Now, the liquidity provider is the one that actually controls the data feeds, which are plugged into the back end of the broker. The liquidity provider, again, has all of your information. Now, what actually happened here is because I was becoming a threat to the liquidity provider. As you can see, when I was at around 600,000 on this account, so I did that in 3 weeks. Imagine if I continued to keep on going as hard as possible, what that 600k could have been in another 3 weeks. So these losses right here, I had 3 GBP JPY buys on the 3rd of the 7th, so just coming into the new month. Now at 10 p.m, what happens in the market at 10 p.m? It's a daily closure, where the average daily range is then reset, and it's a new day in the market. Okay. The new day, what can often be seen in around 15 to 20 minutes upon 10 p.m. actually rolling over, is that the spread widens, as it does on the Sunday evening when the market opens, as it does when fundamental news announcements are being released, and so on. Now, my stop loss was quite wide on GJ because yen pairs, we often have to use wide stops due to the volatility. But alongside this account here, this Traders Domain account, I was also running an IG index account. Again, it was made publicly. I was showing both accounts and doing the same amount of withdrawals in terms of monetary figures each time I would here. So as I would withdraw from the Traders Domain account, I would also withdraw from the IG index account. I was making that publicly available to people to see, because I was showing analysis first, I was showing the entry, I was showing the trade in the middle of the trade, and I was also showing the wins as well on both accounts. So I had all of these GBP JPY buys on my IG index account as well as this Traders Domain account. Now, IG index at 10 p.m. when these trades were running, I didn't get stopped out. I got stopped out on the Traders Domain account. Huge spike anomalies. So I was in a long position, spike came all the way down, hit my stop loss, and the spike went all the way back up to the previous price. So that was a manipulation spike. They've seen my orders and they've stopped me out. I've compared the chart on the MT4 of the Traders Domain to number one, TradingView, and again the IG index platform, which I'll show you guys a little bit later on, which I was trading on as well. My IG index platform did not have the spike. The Traders Domain account did not have the spike. It was just Traders TradingView did not have the spike. It was just the Traders Domain which had the spike. So I give this the benefit of the doubt here with these 3 losses. I just took these 3 losses on the chin. Okay. Then, as you can see, the day after, okay, so GBP JPY more or less consolidated. If we look at the pricing, it was consolidating around here, these areas, probably around 60 pips consolidation. Now, the same thing happened to me again. So I put the GBP JPY buys on because I'm still expecting it to go long, and yes, it did. It flew to the absolute moon the day after. So it happened to me again, GBP JPY. I lost quite a lot of money on that because of the 10 p.m. rollover where I was stopped out. So after this occurred here and here, I I documented all of this and I sent it to the broker. I sent it to the owner of the Traders Domain, and he explained it was a liquidity provider and so on. And you know what? I was firstly, I let the first few losses go, but after that, I was quite pissed off, to tell you the truth, and I actually just stopped trading. I stopped trading, and I was away in Miami at the time, and yeah, I just enjoyed my time out there and the rest of the summer. So, moral of the story, what we can learn from this is that how brokers work, and also when you do actually get pretty good at trading, the liquidity provider is going to try to, hold you, stop you at your tracks. But you know what, if I didn't leave those trades over at 10 p.m, so what we can also learn is the times in which brokers can do that and liquidity providers can do that. Number one is the Sunday evening. So it's very, very important, if we can, not to try to leave trades over the weekend, because they can do this to you on the Sunday evening when the spreads widen, because the excuse behind it was liquidity and slippage and so forth, and you can't really do too much about it. It's kind of it's only a win-win on their behalf. So Sunday evenings, 10 p.m. Sometimes the rollover at 10 p.m. Just be careful, especially on the yen pairs too, because the more volatile the currency pair, or even gold, it's easy for them to do this and reach into your stops, spike the price before the market settles. And again, those GBP JPYs moved in my favor substantially. And on the IG index account, which I did again compare to the public, because I showed everybody this, and I showed it against my IG index account, my IG index profits continued because I was still in the first set of GBP JPY longs, and I managed to make a decent amount of money from that. It rallied around 160 pips after this. So we can learn about the Sunday evening, the 10 p.m. closure, and also, guys, trading around news. We're not going to be trading any news announcements or fundamentals. If I'm in a trade and there's news coming out, then potentially I would leave the trade on if it looks to me as it's going to go in my favor, or I've covered the stop loss, meaning I've brought my stop loss past entry and so on. I will not sit there, wait for the news to come out and press buy or sell, because it's danger. Spreads widen, and again, the brokers, liquidity providers can do this to you in order to stop you out, and there's nothing you can do about it. So whatever, it was a great run, as you can see here where I have placed my cursor. Just zoom in there, the highest amount, 684,344, and that was in around 3.5 weeks flat. So as you can see, steady equity curve, building. Balance 13k, 15k, 8. A few losses there. Back to 15k, 15, 30k, 30 to 50k, 50k to 137. That was on that gold trade. 137 to 248,000. Then from there we had a bit of a dip. Ouch. And you know what happened on this dip as well, guys, is that when I had this dip, I got an email from Traders Domain. Saying they're moving my leverage down. That's why the leverage here is 1 to 100. This is an important factor as well. They moved my leverage down from 1 to 500 to 1 to 100. The reason being was because from here onward, they had me on B-book. So they were more or less trying to trade against me, but it didn't really work out well for them because I was absolutely killing the market. So when they see me dip from here to here, they thought it was a good opportunity to send me an email and put my leverage down to give me the actual chance of failing. And also, they switched me from B-book to A-book. So they went from them using my information here, it didn't work out very well for them, and then they put my leverage down from 1 to 500 to 1 to 100 when they switched me to A-book, and that's when the liquidity provider was then on my case. I had this profit here. A week later, that's when the GBP JPY losses occurred, and that's when they stopped me out and more or less fucked me over. So again, if that happens to you with the leverage, it's because you're doing well perhaps, and then they'll send you an email because you're making too much money from the broker, because what happens then if the broker is on B book with you and you're winning, and the only excuse is to knock down your leverage, is because they're taking the opposite trades to you, and if you're winning, they're losing. Because if you're buying Euro USD and they're doing the opposite from you, and Euro USD flies 100 pips, they've just lost 100 pips. So again, I'm trying to point out all of these interesting factors in which we learned from the 5k challenge over here, and some of it was very new to me as well, and I could use that, and I did use that going forward to be a lot wiser with trading, and then open other people's eyes as well to the game. Anything else I can say here? Not really. Stats on the side here. To get to this, guys, if you want to see it, type in Astro FX on my FX book, and then it's Sean Lee Personal 5k Challenge, and you can go through that. If I look at general, so views, 58,331 views. 58,331 views. As I say, if I didn't get screwed over by liquidity provider there, I would have continued the challenge, but you know what, it's been a great lesson. Made a nice amount of money from this, and then I switched brokers in the end. So you can't really trust brokers across the board, and because again I think they were getting pissed off because I was making this completely public. This is complete public, and yeah, that's more or less that. So this was as fast as possible, in front of the whole world, all live, public MyFX book account, showing it all on social media. And yeah, a lot of people didn't actually believe this, by the way. So going into the closure of this video, a lot of people thought that I had a deal going on with the owner of this brokerage to run up a fake account so I can show the world and blah blah blah. So again, because this has never really been seen before, I've never seen this in such a small space of time in front of people, breaking down those psychological boundaries for myself. Because, as I said, a few of these trades went absolutely wrong and blowed the account in front of the world watching. Look, 58,000 people, 58,000 views. Yeah, it could have all went downhill for me. But again, hope some of those points made sense. I moved from this broker now because of the comments I received. I just got a lot of feedback from this, and again, a lot of people didn't actually think it was real, and my FX book can be manipulated. MT4 can be manipulated, and so on. So that's why I am going to be using throughout this journey here is the IG index workspace, and there are the funds ready to go for this mission. So just FYI, because I did state that I will be using MT4, I want to keep it as legit as possible, even though this right here was stupidly legit. But again, just because if you Traders Domain is a relatively new broker, and it's not a regulated broker, that's why they accept the crypto deposits. But being regulated doesn't really mean too much for a brokerage standard. It's just for the security and safety of your money. But IG Index, for those who, I think everybody's heard of IG Index anyway. So the workspace, I'm going to be running through that with you along this challenge, along this task, and yeah. I just want to eliminate all rumors going forward. So this was done at a high risk pace, extremely fast pace. This journey, guys, is going to be a bit slower. It's more long term, and I'm trying to explain as I go through my entries, exits, market analysis, and just keep it realistic as possible for people to actually learn from. And yeah, it's more or less an ongoing journal. So hope you enjoyed that video right there. Feel free to check out this on my FX book, Sean Lee Personal 5k Challenge. And yeah, so on to the next.